Hello and welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Theta and comparing it a little bit to early day Amazon. So this video is going to be an update on the short term as well as the bigger picture for Theta. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the total market cap and what I think is happening over there. So let's get started. So first we have Theta over here on the left and Amazon over here on the right. And what I'm showing you here is the ABC correction that happened on Amazon before Amazon recovered fully after the internet bubble. So we had the internet bubble, then Amazon started to recover a little bit, but then it had this ABC correction that shook a lot of people out of the market before Amazon went ahead and fully recovered and went into a full force bull market. Now what you can see here is just how similar the ABC correction on Theta is to Amazon back in the day. We have the same market structure on both of these setups. Now, what I'm looking at here for Theta is a very vertical move, a very parabolic run, just exactly like what happened to Amazon after this ABC correction completed. And if you take a look right here on the bottom of wave C, we're really at the same point where Amazon was at, where we're really finishing the bottom of that ABC correction. So a reversal should be happening very soon here at the bottom of wave C. And I'd be looking at a breakout above our local resistance over here at around $3.50. Again, a very vertical move would happen here for Theta, where we'd go vertical in the near future and see a strong recovery for this coin, taking us all the way to a new local high, just exactly like what happened to Amazon over here on the right. And what's really interesting about this comparison is Amazon.com had a bubble back during the internet bubble, then it popped and we had a recovery and an ABC correction. And Theta also had a bubble back in 2021. That bubble popped, and now we had a recovery and an ABC correction. So exactly the same thing is happening, not only from the perspective of the structure in the market, but also in terms of what happened to the internet as an industry and crypto as an industry as well. So it's really interesting to see those connections in both of these industries as we're seeing the same patterns appearing in the market and very similar things happening as new technologies are being developed and adopted across the world. So what I believe is going to happen here in the short term is a double bottom pattern for Theta. We're starting to come back down to this major support area. We're landing right on to major horizontal support, and it can easily double bottom here and start to turn around and see a strong bullish reaction off of this support level. I know during times like this, a lot of people want to be afraid. They want to panic sell their crypto, but the worst thing that you could be doing in a time like this is selling your crypto. The news is going to tell you one thing, and the charts are going to tell you something completely different. So always follow the charts. A lot of people get afraid of world events. They get fearful that things are going to go down, but you have to understand that if you want to be a good trader and investor, you have to tune that stuff out and focus on the charts and accumulate as much as you can, especially during times of fear and economic uncertainty, because those are the best times to be picking stuff up when other people are afraid. Focus on what's happening with the charts and completely tune out of everything that's going on in the world. And if you do that, you're going to be a successful trader. You have no idea how many times I've seen crazy stuff break out in the world. Everybody panic sells their crypto. The price may drop a little bit in the short term, but overall it recovers very strongly and the bull market continues in full force. Even during COVID, when everybody was panic selling their crypto in March of 2020, what was crazy is the markets recovered very quickly and crypto went up during a global pandemic. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think, oh, well, if something bad is happening in the world, then that must mean that the markets are going to go down. And that's really not always the case. Even during times of war, a lot of times markets will go up. And I'm not saying we're going to head into World War III. There's a lot of fear out there. A lot of people think we are. But you have to understand that even during times of economic uncertainty or chaos in the world, if you go look historically, the markets can a lot of times run during those periods. So people have a very shallow view of the way that those things affect the markets. They're too focused on the immediate. They're too focused on the news. They're too focused on the fear. And very rarely do you see somebody zoom out, keep a level head, and focus on what's going to make them money, which is buying the dip and accumulating during times of fear. So again, focus on the charts, completely ignore the news, and that's how you're going to make the most money in the markets. Even Warren Buffett said, "I will tell you how to become rich. Close the doors, be fearful when others are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful." So tune out from the noise, close your doors, stop looking at what's happening in the world, and be greedy when other people are fearful. So cool. Now that we've talked a little bit about the shorter time frames, let's talk about the bigger picture here for Theta. So we have Theta over here on the left and Bitcoin over here on the right. And you can see the same market structure here on Bitcoin that we see over here on Theta. The thing with this comparison though is Theta hasn't recovered yet. It's set up to, it's ready to, but it hasn't recovered. Over here on Bitcoin, you have what Theta is going to do. You have an example of what's coming for Theta. And you can see with Bitcoin, we had a very strong, very vertical recovery after its accumulation pattern, after its ABC correction. So the same structure is set up over here on Theta for a very similar thing. And I believe we will have a very strong vertical move coming here for Theta, just exactly like what happened to Bitcoin over here on the right, where the price fully recovers and starts a full-blown bull market all the way to a new all-time high. The chart is really the exact same thing. It's just that Theta hasn't recovered yet. So if you want to be able to invest in something good and you feel like you missed out on Bitcoin, Theta is a lot like buying Bitcoin back in 2015 before we broke out bullish in 2016 and went for a full-blown bull market in 2017. And actually what's really cool about this is you can see not only did Bitcoin fully recover after its ABC correction, but Bitcoin went all the way to a new all-time high, totally blew people away in price discovery, completely obliterating its old all-time high and going all the way to $20,000 per coin. Now the price of Theta is a little bit different than what Bitcoin was at the same area. So Theta isn't set up to go to like 20,000 per coin, but in the same type of move, it could easily go to 260 before this thing tops out. It could easily hit $260 before Theta completes its major cycle. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, how long will this cycle be? Well, over the next year, I could easily see a new all-time high for Theta. And by 2029, I could easily see Theta being worth $260 per coin. So that would be massive growth for this coin, both in the near future and in the bigger picture. And because of the way the charts are set up, it should be a sustained bull market as mass adoption happens for crypto, where the price of Theta continually increases over time. Instead of having a bear market really quickly, like we saw the last two cycles for crypto, we'd see a parabolic run all the way up to $260 per Theta without any major bear markets in between now and then. It would basically just make higher highs and higher lows the whole time, continually breaking out to new highs without any major bear market before we got really overvalued. And then once we're really overvalued and overextended, then of course everything has to have a bear market at some point. But in between now and then, the chart is really set up for continuous growth without any major bear market. And that's not to say there won't be corrections. There was 30-40% corrections the entire way up on Bitcoin. That does mean that we wouldn't see an 80 to 90% decline like we typically see after a crypto bull market tops out and goes all the way back down. So not only in the short term are we seeing bullishness for Theta with this comparison to Amazon.com, but we're also seeing a lot of bullishness in the bigger picture coming for this coin, with a lot of profit and a lot of upside coming in the larger time frame. Now, if we take a look at the total crypto market cap, we also see a very strong reason to be bullish on the total crypto market cap. And what you can see over here on the left, the total crypto market cap is really set up to do the same thing that it did the last time that it bottomed out. And over here on the left, you can see that we started to bottom out right here, but there were still a lot of corrections. We started to recover, but there were still corrections along the way up. And if you look over here on the right, bottomed out on the total crypto market cap again, and we've started to see see a few corrections along the way up, and this correction right here is actually a lot like this correction over here. As the total crypto market cap was getting closer to resistance over here, you can see we did have a correction where a lot of people panic sold, and a lot of people were expecting a bigger correction in the market right here for the total crypto market cap. But actually what happened here was we broke out bullish all the way to a new all-time high after we pushed up through resistance. We had to pull back a little bit at resistance as expected, but once we got through that level, really the total crypto market cap went completely nuts. So the same thing is happening all over again. We're at major resistance. You can see we're pulling back a little bit here, but overall I believe we're ready for a strong reversal and a breakout all the way up to a new all-time high. So whether you're looking at Theta in the smaller time frame, whether you're looking at Theta in the bigger picture, or whether you're looking at the total crypto market cap, all of these charts are looking bullish. There's no big reason to sell. The only reason people would sell is out of fear, being worried about the news, being worried about outside events instead of what's actually happening in the charts. So stay focused on the charts. Big things are coming for this market. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I hope you enjoyed today's update on Theta. If you did, make sure you share it with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos and live streams. Also, if you want to learn more about this stuff, make sure that you apply for the one-on-one coaching. Link in the description box below. I'll hop on a phone call with you and talk a little bit about how one-on-one coaching can change your life. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys in future videos. As always, stay profitable out there.